I mean, the vibe on set was like we had worked out that we're making something good, so we could really lean into that. You know, like it was more of a freedom, it felt, to push boundaries. I didn't experience it as pressure. I think that that's because the writers did such a good job of leveling it up in every way. So they created this framework for us to just like push it. And there was a lot of confidence. So it was a hoot. It was great. It was like when you like try a cartwheel for the first time and it's rusty, and then you're like, I can do this. And so you like really do the cartwheel, you know? It was great.
My cartwheels are terrible, but I agree with everything else. Said beautifully. Yeah, no, absolutely. There was no pressure. The pressure comes from within, you know, but within that pressure, there is a freedom because we love doing this work.
It was awesome. I was so excited about it. Me, Jess, is like really physical, and like I'm happiest when I'm like expending all of my energy outwards and like climbing things and jumping off things and rolling around. So for me, it was great. I loved getting that, the first script, and then seeing that ahead. And for Chapel, it was really interesting to tap into like what would drive her to that point emotionally, you know, like because she's naturally quite a like, you know, loving and caring person. So yeah, it was cool to investigate that for her.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was like really exciting to, you know, prepare for those things and to make sure we got it right, you know, that it looked fresh and different, you know. And so it took quite a bit of work, but we were very excited to do it. I believe he's still finding his way initially, you know. He's decided he's going to, you know, soldier on, shall we say, and try to find the beauty of his daughter in the rest of humanity. But it's a struggle, of course. It is not an event that can simply be washed away with time. But he goes forward, you know, he goes forward and to see what the future will bring.
I think as a performer myself, like the ones that are the most challenging emotionally are the ones that are most enjoyable, actually. It's where there's the most to be found artistically. And there's a lot of that in episode 8. I loved doing episode 8 with Babs. It was one of my favorite from the entire 2 seasons. And working with Jeff Bird, he's incredible. He's an actor's director. He's really, really, really wonderful. And I think he made us both feel really safe to find the truth of that episode. And I think that stretched me and stretched Chapel a lot, that experience.
Sort of likewise, you know, discovering or revealing the vulnerability of a character is always something, and it's always a challenge, but revealing it truthfully is also a bigger challenge. And if one can get to it, if one can make something of it, it's rewarding. And so yeah, it is a part of the work that I embrace very much also.
This surprised me when it happened, but it was the times when there were some particular moments, which I can't really be specific about, where Chapel got to lean into like pure joy, like really soften into pure joy. And that was really illuminating for me about her. And it was also extremely vulnerable in a way that I didn't expect. But yeah, I found that very, very rewarding.
Yeah, perhaps somewhere in episode 8, you know, I can't reveal much of it, but, you know, but somewhere in there was a moment where I was like, okay, this is going much deeper. This is given, it felt epic. I hope that was captured, or I hope that is, you know, what you then see on screen. But it felt epic as we made a good chunk of episode 8 for me personally.
Speaking for myself, I think it's just about staying really open and curious when when we're together on set and you know, in discovery mode. There is definitely a lot of deepening of the relationship with Chaplin and Banger in this season, and we get to go through a lot together, and it's something that I've really enjoyed. I think it's been a really beautiful deepening of both of their stories separately and entwined. Very heartful, very heartful.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We're going to see some of their past history, how they came to be, how they came together, you know, as compadres. And yeah, it's done in I think it was written beautifully, you know, and of course we then try to mold it as much as possible with our performances. And yeah, it's been something. It was really lovely to do. It was really lovely to experience. And no, we perhaps maybe go over a scene together, you know, while waiting, but I think, or I know what I do, but I also see that Jess comes quite prepared. And so when we land in front of each other, you know, with the camera rolling, there's a lot to work with, you know. That's all you can ever ask of your scene partner, you know. So there's a lot of giving and taking and being open.
No one's ever asked that before.
What, are you from New York or what?
I live there. I live in New York.
Yeah, it's just gonna get really complicated. Let's just say that. I have to keep it vague, but I can tell you that much. It just complications intensify. Let's say that.
Yeah, I think our history, I just try and look away, really, but then try to be supportive as much as possible. You know, your workmates, so you've got to be respectful, you know. So Spock, hats off to you, Mr. Spock.